It's hard. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my husband is still very much here.
Bruce Willis's wife just made a heartbreaking confession, and no one saw this coming. At first, it sounded like a split, like she had packed her bags and walked away. But then, Emma Heming Willis revealed the truth, and it stopped people in their tracks. This wasn't a breakup. This wasn't abandonment. It was something else entirely, something far more painful and far more loving. The world first noticed something was off in 2022. Bruce Willis, Hollywood icon, action hero, the unshakable face of Die Hard, suddenly went quiet. No final film tour, no farewell interviews, just a jarring silence from one of the most recognizable voices in cinema. At first, fans assumed it was just a break, a vacation, maybe even a surprise project under wraps. But then, a family statement changed everything. Bruce was diagnosed with aphasia, a disorder that attacks the brain's ability to process language. It affects speaking, understanding, reading, even writing. For an actor, a communicator, a man whose charm lived in the way he delivered every line with that signature edge, it was devastating. And yet, that was just the beginning. In 2023, the diagnosis was updated: frontotemporal dementia, FTD, a far more aggressive and cruel condition. It doesn't just steal memory, it reshapes personality, erodes empathy, dismantles language. It changes everything, including how someone reacts, connects, and even exists in the world. For Bruce, it meant fading from the spotlight without closure. No final bow, no red carpet goodbye. For Emma, it meant watching the man she married slowly disappear, not in body, but in spirit. And that's the part people don't talk about. How do you grieve someone who's still alive? How do you hold on to love when the person beside you slowly forgets how to hold on back? Emma didn't just lose her husband in one moment. She lost him in pieces, little fragments, day by day. One missed word, one confused glance, one memory, gone. And all she could do was stand beside him, quietly, lovingly, as the man she knew slipped further away. But that heartbreak? It would soon demand an unthinkable decision. Emma Heming Willis recently revealed something that left fans stunned. She and Bruce no longer live under the same roof. To some, it sounded like the unraveling of a marriage, like she had quietly stepped away. But the truth? It's far more layered and far more heartbreaking. Bruce now lives in a specially designed single-story home. Not flashy, not grand, but safe. It's built for simplicity, with smooth floors, wide hallways, and soft lighting. Every detail designed to make daily life easier for someone navigating frontotemporal dementia. No stairs, no clutter, no risks. And most importantly, he's surrounded by professionals. 24/7 caregivers trained not just to support his physical needs, but to help preserve what remains of his mind. Emma didn't move out because she wanted space. She did it because she had no choice. She chose to move into a different home with their daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, ages 13 and 11. A home where there's laughter and music, where the walls aren't painted in fear or confusion, where the girls can do homework, FaceTime friends, and just be kids. Emma said she could feel Bruce guiding her decision, even if he couldn't say the words himself. He would have wanted this for them, she said softly, a place where they could breathe. Because Bruce wasn't just a movie star, he was a dad first, the kind who lit up at dance recitals, who cracked silly jokes at bedtime, who lived for pancakes on Saturday mornings. And what kind of father would want his daughters to grow up in a space defined by his decline? Emma didn't leave Bruce behind. She built a new home so his daughters could remember him as he was, not just as he's becoming. Imagine being torn in two. On one side, you're a wife. You made vows. You stood beside him through the highs and lows. You remember the man who held your hand through childbirth, who whispered silly jokes in your ear just to make you laugh. That man is still there, somewhere, and part of you wants to stay right beside him no matter how dark things get. But on the other side, you're a mother, and your daughters are watching. They're watching how you respond to grief, how you cope with loss, how you choose love even when it hurts. You want to shield them from trauma, from fear, from waking up every day in a house where their father sometimes forgets their names. So what do? Emma chose her daughters, not by abandoning Bruce, but by protecting them, by giving them a space where they could breathe, where their childhood didn't have to revolve around caretakers and silence and confusion. But she didn't vanish. Every morning, she's there, serving Bruce breakfast, holding his hand, brushing his hair back from his face. Every night, she brings the girls. They sit, they eat, they talk. Sometimes Bruce talks back. Sometimes he just listens. This isn't a family falling apart. It's a family redefining what love looks like in the face of loss. Because the home may be different, but the heart of it, the connection, the care, the presence, that stayed exactly where it always was. And here's the part that truly breaks your heart. When Diane Sawyer looked Emma in the eye and asked, "Does he still recognize you?" There was a pause. Not hesitation, just quiet. A moment heavy with the kind of grief that has no name. Emma looked down for a second. Her voice was steady, but soft. "I feel he does. When we're with him, he lights up." It wasn't a yes. It wasn't a no. It was the kind of answer only someone who's lived in that gray space can understand. Because dementia doesn't just erase people from memory. It scrambles timelines. It warps relationships. Some days, Bruce might recognize his daughters as the babies they once were. Other days, he may see them and not fully understand why they're calling him dad. But what Emma holds on to, what she chooses to believe in, are the moments that still shine through. When she walks in the room and his eyes light up. When Mabel giggles and he instinctively smiles. When Evelyn hugs him and he pulls her in a little tighter. They don't always get words. Sometimes they don't even get full sentences. But they get presence. They get warmth. They get that indescribable flicker. The one that says, "I know you." Maybe not your name. Maybe not the details. But I know I love you. And for Emma, that's enough. Because when someone's mind is slipping away, what matters most isn't what they remember. It's what they still feel. And Bruce, he still feels love. Even if the words are gone, the connection remains. And for a family fighting to hold on to every last piece of him, that connection is everything. Of course, not everyone understood. When Emma's interview with Diane Sawyer aired, the internet erupted. Headlines twisted her words. Comment sections filled with judgment. Strangers online accused her of abandoning Bruce, of giving up, of choosing freedom over commitment. Some called her selfish. Others questioned her loyalty. Many had no idea what they were talking about, because from the outside, it was easy to make assumptions. But what those critics didn't see, what most people never see, is what caregiving really looks like behind closed doors. Emma could have stayed silent, but instead, she spoke up. She went to Instagram and posted a message that was both raw and unfiltered. If you haven't been a caregiver, you don't get a say. No PR polish, no apologies, just truth. And the truth is, caregiving isn't just hard. It's soul-shattering. It's getting up every day to watch someone you love disappear piece by piece. It's smiling for your kids while crying in private. It's living in a constant state of mourning for someone who's still alive. What Emma did wasn't walking away. It was setting boundaries. It was making an impossible choice for the sake of her children. And for Bruce, because love isn't always about staying in the same house. Sometimes it's about knowing when to step back, so someone else can step in and provide the care you no longer can. And for every critic online, there were thousands more, quiet, exhausted caregivers who saw her and whispered, "Thank you." Emma didn't just defend herself. She defended all of them. And in doing so, she reminded the world, love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's doing what hurts most, because it's the right thing to do. Still, there are glimmers, tiny, beautiful cracks in the darkness. And to Emma, they're everything. Sometimes Bruce will smile the way he used to, half grin, half sarcastic, the kind of smirk that once made entire audiences fall in love with him. Other times he'll chuckle at something his daughters say, not because he understands the joke, but because the sound of their laughter still lights something up inside him. Emma says, sometimes you'll see that twinkle in his eye. It only lasts a second, a flash, a flicker of recognition. But when it happens, it's like watching a ghost come back to life. Only this ghost is warm, breathing, and still part of your world. It's enough to bring tears and comfort all at once. Bruce may no longer initiate conversations. He may not always track what's happening around him, but occasionally, he locks eyes with Emma or one of the girls, and there's a pause, a kind of stillness, like his soul is trying to say, I remember you. I don't know how or why, but I do. For a family grieving someone who's still here, those moments are gold. It's how they keep going. They don't live for the old Bruce. They've learned not to chase what was, but they do live for those flickers, the smiles, the hand squeezes, the looks that say, I know you're mine, because love like theirs doesn't disappear overnight. It lingers, in smirks, in twinkles, in unspoken bonds. And even if Bruce forgets the words, Emma and the girls will remember every single moment for both of them. But the emotional cost? It's immeasurable. Emma admitted there were days when when she felt like she was disappearing too. She wasn't just losing Bruce, she was losing herself. The version of her that laughed freely, that dreamed about the future, that once saw caregiving as a temporary detour, not a full-time identity. Friends didn't always understand. People didn't know what to say, and when the cameras were off, the house was quiet, and Bruce no longer spoke. The loneliness hit like a wave. That's when Emma started writing, not with the intention of becoming an author, but as a way to survive. Every emotion she couldn't say out loud, she put on paper. Every moment of guilt, grief, confusion, strength, and unexpected beauty. Every late-night breakdown. Every morning she had to force a smile for her girls. And slowly, the pages became something more than a personal outlet. They became a mission. The Unexpected Journey, set for release in September 2025, isn't a glamorous, tell-all or Hollywood memoir. It's not about red carpets or celebrity gossip. It's a raw, unfiltered look into the life of someone slowly losing the person they love, one memory at a time. Emma said she doesn't want people to feel sorry for her. She wants them to feel seen, because there are millions of caregivers out there, many of them silent, invisible, burning out behind closed doors. And if her words can make even one of them feel less alone, then every painful sentence she wrote will have been worth it. This isn't a story of loss. It's a story of survival and of choosing to speak, even when your world is falling quiet. So, no, this isn't the end of their love story. It's just a different kind of love now, quieter, gentler, less about words, and more about presence. Because Bruce may not remember the first time he kissed Emma, but when she leans in now, he still tilts his head toward her. He might not remember the day Mabel was born, or Evelyn's first recital, but when they climb into his lap, or rest their heads on his shoulder, he still reaches out to hold them. That's what Emma is holding on to, not the timeline, not the facts, not the stories that are slowly fading from his mind, but the feeling, the connection that lives in a look, a touch, a breath between two people who don't need words to understand each other anymore. Theirs isn't a love built on memory anymore. It's a love built on now. It's sitting quietly beside him while he stares out the window. It's putting on his favorite music, even if he doesn't sing along. It's showing up day after day, not because he asks, but because she knows he still feels it deep down. And that's the part most people miss. Love doesn't vanish with diagnosis. It shifts. It softens. It becomes something almost sacred. Because what Emma and Bruce have isn't just about holding on. It's about learning how to let go with grace, without ever letting go of each other. And for their daughters, watching this unfold in real time, it's a lesson they'll carry forever. That love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, still, unshakable. And sometimes that kind of love is the strongest of all. So the next time you see a photo of Bruce Willis, or read a headline speculating about his condition, or scroll past a comment accusing his wife of giving up, pause and ask yourself this: would you be strong enough to walk away? Not because you stopped loving someone, but because you loved them too much to stay? Most people never think about what it means to lose someone while they're still here. To wake up next to the same face, but feel like the person inside is fading further with every passing day. Emma Heming Willis didn't leave out of weakness. She didn't choose comfort. She chose courage. She made an unthinkable choice to live apart from the man she still loves so that their daughters could live with joy. That's not abandoning a partner. That's becoming a protector. Because real love isn't always staying in the fire. Sometimes it's stepping back so others don't have to burn. And even now, Emma is still right beside Bruce, in spirit, in presence, in love. Every morning visit, every evening meal, every soft moment when no one's watching. That's love. In its quietest, purest, most enduring form. Not everyone will understand, but those who've been through it, they'll know. They'll feel it in their chest, in their silence, in their memories. And maybe, just maybe, Emma's story will help someone else survive their own. Because this isn't just about Bruce. It's about what it means to love through the hardest chapters and redefine what forever really looks like.